electorate when you look at it. This map
Look at
is
this.
a New York Times analysis, and it illustrates how voters across America shifted to the right in the past 4 years.
Look at that.
Trump improved on his 2020 margin in more than 2,300 counties. His margin decreased in only 240 counties, with about 500 still being counted.
So that's the reality.
And it is worth pointing out, again, Trump could be the first Republican since George W. Bush in 2004 to win the popular vote. Power panel now. T.W. Shannon, former Republican Speaker of the Oklahoma House of Representatives. Doug Schoen, former Clinton advisor. Great to see you both.
Great.
Doug, you were already doing forensics on the rise of Kamala Harris the minute they put her atop your party's ticket. You knew some things. I'm always curious to know how you know. It's your experience, it's all of it. But how much of it turned out to be exactly what you think happened?
Well, I was afraid when she was selected that a far-left San Francisco liberal without a record of accomplishment would not wear well. And she didn't wear well. There was a honeymoon period. But fundamentally, this is a rejection of the Democratic Party, my party, Kamala Harris.
It's crazy.
And a left-wing ideology. And I believe that
it's just crazy, though.
Exactly
he's probably winning every battleground state. They're saying he's inheriting a financial collapse now. Now they're being honest about that. I knew this, too. I knew this.
Over and over and over.
T.W. Shannon, how much do you think it mattered, those items outside of the economy, outside of the border, such as...
I want to go to the commentary from CNN, though. Nancy Pelosi said, it's not a good morning. She said I would say good morning, but it's not a good morning. They're, like, freaking out.
It is now official. CNN projects that Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris and making a political comeback unlike any in modern American politics. Now we can
I want to watch The View
now because CNN projects that Donald Trump has won Wisconsin. You can see
they won Wisconsin at like 4:34 in the morning.
99% of the vote in.
Or I think CBS was the first person to call it. Shock and disbelief. Hear how the Harris campaign is reacting.
Still things we don't know, but obviously the picture here of what we're
this is what I want to see.
Looking at is starkly clear. We are standing by to hear from Vice President Kamala Harris. Obviously, she did not speak last night. Source now telling us she will deliver her concession speech this afternoon at Howard University, and this will be the first time that we will see from her since she lost to Donald Trump, a night that, of course, she thought would go very differently, that Trump seemed to think could go very differently. Priscilla Alvarez is just outside the Harris campaign headquarters in Washington, D.C. Elena Train is outside Trump's campaign headquarters this morning. So, Priscilla, first to you,
she looks
what do you know
upset.
About what's gone on in these past few hours in the inner circle of that campaign where we had all heard their view? They'd been public. They were confident. They thought, David Plouffe said, they thought they could win all.
She looks pissed.
7 swing states, and yet here we are.
Aaron, I've been talking to allies of the vice president and sources close to the campaign over the course of the morning, including in the early morning hours, and they are in a state of shock and disbelief.
Shock
sense of some of what I'm hearing.
and disbelief.
Stomach is in knots. Another telling that they felt, quote, terrible.
How do you think we feel going to the grocery store?
Gloomy, and it was Pennsylvania, and the results that came in Pennsylvania, that was really the nail in the coffin. This source also saying bluntly,
I have knots in my stomach when I buy groceries.
So much shock this morning among those closest to the
what did you expect? And honestly,
said privately and publicly by senior Harris campaign officials, essentially projecting optimism and confidence.
Now they're going to talk about the truth about the economy. Just watch, you guys. Watch how they talk about the financial collapse.
Has already begun because part of this strategy also included bringing in disaffected Republicans they believe were fatigued by former President Donald Trump, as well as trying to lock in parts of their coalition where there had been waning enthusiasm. But the numbers have shown they just were not able to accomplish that, including in some of those red rural counties that they had banked on peeling off some of those Republican votes. Now, as you mentioned,
How could you open borders, cause massive inflation from the stimulus, which I know it started under Trump, but give all this money to Ukraine?
Yeah, absolutely.
People are waking up.
Phone call, right? You know, it came out just the other
People
day,
are
right?
waking up.
All these things, and to have to pick up the phone and make that call. These are, of course, I think at these moments, remember, human beings. Priscilla, thank you very much. And let's go to the Trump
Human
campaign now,
beings.
where Trina is in West Palm Beach, Florida. And Elena, here's the thing. It appeared from everything the Trump campaign was signaling, the way he was acting himself, he didn't think he would win. Then he came out and won. And he didn't just barely win. He won in a landslide. So
Landslide. Yeah. Yeah.
What did his next few hours look like?
I thought they were going to cheat, but they didn't.
Well, you're certainly right, Aaron, that, you know, heading into yesterday, Donald Trump's campaign kept saying they were cautiously optimistic, but behind the scenes, there was a lot of uneasiness. They expected the race to be incredibly close, and they were not.
Because now we got the truth on how these races go. They let
most of the networks, including ours, had
him win, honestly,
Donald Trump. They said that they were obviously excited, but also
by not cheating and counting the votes in time.
That it was going to come so quickly, particularly those crucial votes in the battleground.
It was insane.
For today, I'm told Donald Trump is laying low for the most part. We know that he's been taking calls with a series of people who've been congratulating him.
They tried to off the man, for God's sakes. It's like,
clearly we've seen foreign leaders publicly reach out and congratulate him over online, but they've also been calling him, as have CEOs.
I got to see the good stuff, though.
Closely tracking who was reaching out and when, because remember, Donald Trump values loyalty.
I got to see the people that are just flabbergasted. They start.
It's going to be a lot of soul searching and asking a lot of questions.
They just can't
hours and days about
wrap their heads around it.
Democrats and the Harris campaign have done differently.
So you guys gonna bash Donald Trump for 4 more years? That's what you're gonna do after the majority of the American people voted. People of color, women, immigrants, they voted for this man.
And frankly, they said he should. One of the ways in which he is being blamed